10 reasons the Dark Ages weren't actually dark. We call them the Dark Ages. The centuries after the fall of Rome, when Europe supposedly descended into ignorance, superstition, and barbarism. It is one of the most persistent myths in history. The truth? These centuries were some of the most innovative, creative, and transformative in human history. Reason number 10, the Islamic Golden Age was happening at the same time. While Europe was rebuilding, the Islamic world was experiencing an explosion of knowledge. Scholars in Baghdad, Cordoba, and Cairo were advancing mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. They preserved Greek and Roman texts that would have otherwise been lost. Algebra, the algorithm, and the astrolabe all come from this period. The Dark Ages were only dark if you ignore most of the world. Reason number 9, the Vikings were not just raiders, they were explorers, traders, and nation builders. The Viking Age, from 793 to 1066 AD, saw Norse sailors reach North America 500 years before Columbus. They established trade routes from Baghdad to Newfoundland. They founded Dublin, Kiev, and Normandy. They created one of the most advanced legal systems in Europe with the Icelandic Althing, one of the world's oldest parliaments. Reason number 8, medieval monks preserved Western civilization. When the Roman Empire collapsed, it was Christian monasteries that kept learning alive. Monks copied ancient texts by hand, maintained libraries, and ran schools. Without the monks of Ireland, Gaul, and Italy, we would have lost most of Greek and Roman literature, philosophy, and science. The entire classical tradition survived because of dedicated men in robes working by candlelight. Reason number 7, the medieval period gave us the university. The University of Bologna, founded in 1088, is the oldest university in continuous operation. Oxford, Cambridge, Paris, and Salamanca all date from the 11th and 12th centuries. The very concept of organized higher education, with degrees, faculties, and academic freedom, is a medieval invention. Reason number 6, Gothic architecture was a revolutionary engineering achievement. The great cathedrals of Notre Dame, Chartres, and Cologne were not primitive structures. They were marvels of engineering that used pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses to create buildings of unprecedented height and light. Some took over a century to build. They remain among the most impressive structures ever created by human hands. Reason number 5, medieval farmers revolutionized agriculture. The heavy plow, the horse collar, the three-field rotation system, and the windmill were all medieval innovations. These advances doubled and tripled agricultural output, fueling a population boom that transformed Europe. The medieval peasant farmer was far more productive than his Roman predecessor. Reason number 4, the printing press was being developed. While Gutenberg's press came in the 1450s, the groundwork was laid centuries earlier. Woodblock printing existed in China for centuries, and European craftsmen were experimenting with movable type long before Gutenberg. The late medieval period was a hotbed of communication technology. Reason number 3, medieval law laid the foundation for modern rights. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, established the principle that even the king was subject to the law. The English common law system, trial by jury, and habeas corpus all have medieval origins. The idea that ordinary people have rights that cannot be arbitrarily violated, that is a medieval invention. Reason number 2, medieval medicine was more advanced than you think. Medieval surgeons performed complex operations, including cataract surgery and trepanation. Hospitals as we know them, institutions dedicated to caring for the sick, were a medieval creation. The first pharmacies opened in Baghdad in 754 AD, and European monasteries maintained extensive medicinal gardens. Reason number 1, the term Dark Ages was invented by a poet who hated his own time. Petrarch, the 14th century Italian poet, coined the term to contrast what he saw as the ignorance of the centuries after Rome with the glory of classical antiquity. He was essentially doing what every generation does, romanticizing the past and dismissing the present. Modern historians have largely abandoned the term because it is simply inaccurate. The so-called Dark Ages were anything but dark. They were a period of extraordinary creativity, innovation, and transformation that laid the groundwork for the modern world. The next time someone calls them dark, you will know better. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Hermes History for more myth-busting history.